The UK Supreme Court has ruled that the Northern Ireland Assembly can legislate to create buffer zones around abortion clinics to protect both women who use the clinics and their staff. The ruling will also allow the creation of such zones outside abortion clinics in Scotland, with Women's Health Minister Marie Todd saying that legislation would be brought to the Scottish Parliament as soon as possible. To give their thoughts on this story is the CEO of the Alliance of Pro-Life Students and freelance journalist Hilary Freeman. Hilary, thank you for joining us in the studio today. And also with us is Madeline Page. Thank you very much for joining us too. Now, Hilary, do you welcome this Supreme Court judge ruling?
Yes, I do. I think it's absolutely the right decision. People should not be harassed when they're going to make a very difficult and sensitive decision, a very personal decision, and it should be something that they're able to do without being bothered by people who have views that they may not share. And it's a personal medical thing. If you were going to the doctor to, I don't know, sort out your hemorrhoids, you wouldn't expect somebody outside to tell you what to do about it. And it's just nothing to do with anybody else. None of their business. Protesters should not have a say in this.
Madeline, is it about people telling people what to do with their lives, or is it something deeper than that?
It's definitely something deeper. There's another human person that we're talking about. A pregnancy is a human being inside the mother, and abortion ends that pregnancy, ends the life of that child. And when we think of these buffer zones, these censorship zones, we actually already have laws in place to protect against harassment. Those laws already exist. And if there had been clear examples of women doing this, then our laws would have already been implemented to stop them. But that hasn't happened. And whenever we ask people who say they are pro-choice to provide that evidence, they're unable to. So actually what we're doing is far overreaching and telling people they can't pray and they can't offer support to women who need it when they're going into those clinics.
Right, so Hilary, that's the point there, isn't it? It's not just an anti-protest law, it's an anti-prayer law. And we are a country founded on the freedom of worship. And if we're saying people cannot pray in the vicinity of these clinics, is that not going over the mark?
I think prayer should also be a very personal thing that you can do in the privacy of your own home or in your own church or synagogue or mosque or whatever it is, whatever faith you belong to. Prayer does not belong outside an abortion clinic where people who don't share your faith, who may not believe in your God, are going to make a choice that may be incredibly difficult for them. And I argue with your point that it's a human being, a baby. It's not a baby, it's a cluster of cells at the stage that most women have an abortion, and it's about their lives, not about the unborn.
OK, we'll get back to that, because that's incorrect and that's quite callous to say that. But we'll talk about the prayer first and foremost, because it seems to me you're suggesting that people should only be able to pray in their home or in their church. Are you suggesting we should not have freedom of worship in this country?
No, you can have freedom of worship, but you shouldn't impose it on other people. So if you say to me, I'm going to pray for you, then I say, well, thank you very much, but I don't want you to pray for me because I don't share your belief in God. So if it makes you
sure,
feel
but I will be
better
praying later on my show in the vicinity of you.
That's fine.
Would you say that's wrong?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. But if you said to me, I am praying for you because I think what you're doing is wrong, then I would find that offensive. But if you said to me, I'd like to pray, I'd say, fine, that's fine. I was brought up in a religious environment.
Okay.
I'm no longer religious. I totally respect people who are religious, but I don't believe that they should be allowed to impose their beliefs onto me or onto other people.
Madeline, I don't see it as an imposition. I don't see prayer as an imposition. And if someone doesn't believe in prayer, then surely it doesn't affect them.
Yeah, I find it quite odd, and it's almost sounding like you're trying to censor my thoughts. So if I decide to think well of somebody, and for me an act of doing that might be through prayer, I'm being told you can't think that. And to then start monitoring and censoring someone's thoughts and silent prayer, I don't understand how that's an imposition. I don't understand how that's offensive. And to me, it sounds like, Hilary, you're actually saying that prayer, you saying you advocate for freedom of worship, but that's within very strict sort of boundaries of being in your home or in your church. But actually, I think praying silently on the street or in other situations is perfectly acceptable.
Can we get to the reason why people are praying? Because it seems to me that this argument is looking from two different perspectives. People seem to think that prayer is an offensive, it's a weapon that people are using. That's not what's going on, is it? Why would you say people are praying in the first place?
No, I mean, it's to try and protect the unborn, to protect those who are being killed in the womb, and also for the women as well, who aren't receiving the support that they should be getting outside those abortion clinics. I've been there outside an abortion clinic. I've offered women assistance, And they are often so relieved to hear that actually there are other options, that we can provide them with housing, we can provide them with financial support, which is not provided by the state and which is not being provided by pro-choicers who claim to be pro-choice. But from what I've seen, it actually seems to be pro-abortion. And they have one very clear agenda.